Your story is really touching and moving, and I kind of want to, you were just talking to me about the stress of it and the day-to-day in and out, so tell me a little bit about what that is like.
Well, when it's happening, when it first happens, I mean, you have your child, 20-year-old kid, in a coma, and all his organs are dying. He's in ICU, and it's just so surreal and intense that there are really no words to describe it. You know, I mean, if you love your child, and I think most of us do, it's really tough to deal with and see and experience it. So, you know, at the beginning, it's just a matter of survival. You want your child to survive, and you're at the mercy of the doctors, and it's total and complete chaos because you're in the hospital, you're in intensive care, and there's a doctor literally for every organ in your child's body. You know, there's the lung, the pulmonary specialist, the cardiologist for the heart, the kidney doctor, there's the physiatrist, so you pretty much look for, every day you're waiting, and it's a waiting game because your child's in a coma, and you just want him to come out of it. So that's painful to watch and experience, and it's just tough. And then you're fighting with the insurance companies. You think that you have good insurance, or you're told, oh, this is a really good policy, until you have a catastrophic loss like this. Then you realize that all they care about is getting you out of there.
Right.
They don't want to pay for ICU every day.
Forever.
So what they'll say, oh, you know, he's stabilized, and we're going to put him in a regular hospital room. That happened a couple of times where he was, and he was at a very good hospital too. He was at University Medical Center in Tucson, where the congresswoman was that got shot in Tucson. Gabby Giffords, is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
And they have an excellent trauma team. So
you were saying about the daily death you were talking about.
Right. And then we were fortunate that Josh did come out of the coma, but he went from being in the coma, and this was all in Tucson, and I wanted to bring him home to San Diego, so I life flighted him, and I paid for that, to life flight him to a skilled nursing facility.
Care
Right, called Care Meridian, which was wonderful. So then, when he started to wake up, but you know, you want your child to be what he was before the injury. So in that sense, it's like a death, you know, because it's a loss, you know, because Josh was so brilliant. I mean, as a kid, he was really, really smart. He had his own website when he was like 10 years old, and he was wheeling and dealing and selling cards and selling Beanie Babies and making all, you know, getting checks and money orders in the mail all the time. He was a little entrepreneur.
eBay.
This was even before eBay.
Wow.
Yeah, this was before eBay.
An entrepreneur.
What?
You were an entrepreneur.
Oh boy. Yeah, he's still really a numbers kid.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's just it's hard.
Yeah.
So you go through
See,
different stages.
Right.
You go through different stages.
So in this daily death that you're talking about, and these daily things that you had to go through, and the fight with the insurance company, the fight with the doctors, and things like that, I mean, how did you find the strength to fight that every day? Because truthfully, there's a lot of people that give up.
right? I don't know. You just kind of rise to the occasion. I think when you're in that mode, and then you're hopeful. I'm a hopeful person. I'm a very optimistic person. So at the beginning of the injury,
I have that.
you what?
How about you?
You help me with that. Yeah, Josh helps me. He helps me be optimistic.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this was 4 years ago. Over 4 years ago.
Yeah.
March 28th, 2007 was the injury, and here we are.
Mhm.
December of 2011.
Wow.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, you think that everything's going to be fine, you know, because if you have the fighting instinct, and you just have to like defy any kind of negative prognosis, because you get a lot of that.
The doctor's
You get a
telling
lot of
you
that.
Yeah.
it's the end, but he's not going
Or
to
he's in a persistent vegetative state. He'll be in a persistent vegetative state.
Mom, you should be happy with me.
I should what?
You should be happy with me.
I should be happy with you?
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy that you've come this far.
I know.
And you're continuing to.
Yeah.
I think the future for Josh is stem cell.
Oh.
So
I
you
do.
say you're naturally optimistic, and you were talking about how even it's interesting how you're naturally optimistic, and the part of his brain that's still overfiring really well is the happy side and the optimistic side.
Right.
You know, that kind of, you know, to me touches me. It's like a piece of you,
Yeah.
you know, that's changed him. But that there's still got to be times where you had to reach out for help, or reach out for resources, or
Right.
reach out for answers.
Yeah.
You know, how did you find the strength to do that when you're saying so much
Well,
negative?
you cry a lot. You know, you just have to. I mean, you have to live your life.
Yeah.
And if you're miserable and you're crying, and you do that. So there are days that you do that,
Mhm.
which is a release. It's a release to cry. Is a release.
Mm.
So that's
So you let yourself.
probably a good thing. So you know, you ask a lot of questions. You seek resources. You talk to people. My brother is a wonderful person, and he flew from Houston, Texas, to Tucson, and we were together trying to figure things out. And he had researched the hyperbaric oxygen therapy, and he suggested that to the doctors, and they said they advised us against it. But we decided to do it. So there's a book called The Oxygen Revolution.
Mhm.
So my brother, who's really bright, had read the book, and he turned me on to it, and then I read the book. So he's had over 200 hyperbaric oxygen treatments, HVOT treatments, which is basically oxygen, pure oxygen in a pressurized setting. So the idea is to jumpstart the idling neurons in the brain that weren't firing.
Right.
So we think that it did help Josh, because he woke up after 10 treatments, 10 hyperbaric treatments.
What?
When I say woke up, he spoke.
Mm.
And what was pretty amazing was that Josh could still read and write.
But he couldn't speak.
Well, he has trouble articulating now. Well, you first wake up. When you wake up from a coma, I mean, I suppose it's not like it is on television where they just like, where have I been for 20 years? You know, they wake up. It's very gradual.
Mm.
Where if they open their eyes and there's like they stare like blankly, but if the eyes move and follow you, so it's side to side movement with the eyes, and then it's
this one?
up and down.
What is it?
Josh,
You're
funny.
awake.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I would do all kinds of crazy things. I would like swing a golf club.